Here's the video demo for our project 3 called the 15, called the puzzle slide-in program, but 15 puzzles in this case. We're just gonna go through the basic intro, meet in the team, go over the project summary, a few details about the project itself. For the team, you have myself being team leader here, Pascal.
My name is Wyland Cruz. For this project, I was a developer and CSS designer.
My name is Ethan Menner. I designed the Shuffle program as well as some other JavaScript functionalities.
I am Ifas Khan. I work on the background music and the timer.
Cool. So for the project summary, our project 3 was just to implement the sliding game. And what it pretty much is a game that requires a user to reassemble an image that has been broken down into tiles of, I guess in this case, varying lengths and shuffle. So you're supposed to reassemble it into the actual image it was. And for this project, we added a few extra features, one being the resizable board, another being being able to change the image for the puzzle. Then we added music and timer. Then we added a win and screen. For the general requirements, we had to demonstrate our knowledge of JavaScript and manipulating the DOM, HTML DOM, and we utilized Scrum methodology as well as in making sure that we had adequate source control to really monitor code changes and kind of where we were at in the project. Then just to create the sliding game puzzle with extra features and make sure it's all functional. For the development process, we started with initial drafts, which we pushed over to GitHub, just so that everyone could, just to have a frame that everyone could work off. Then we discussed about the extra features we wanted to implement. Then we did go ahead and start writing some code and pushing it. We revised the drafts that we had for each feature, and eventually we added it up together to a final product, which we pushed to GitHub. Then we started to create the PowerPoint that we have here. And for the Scrum that we utilize, the benefits are it helped us make gradual progress as we inch closer to our main goal, as opposed to just developing something and really not being exactly what we wanted. We were able to make a little progress and keep track of what we have made, and if it draws us closer to a goal. It helped us track our work velocity to see how much we had accomplished in the time frame that we had set. And it really helped everyone kind of collaborate. When you make changes in a branch, you can have someone take a look at it to see if it's up to snuff, if it's exactly what we want. And with that, we were able to really be more effective in our development of this. Now on to the shuffle algorithm.
Okay, so I worked on the shuffle algorithm. So the shuffle algorithm has two different randomizing elements. So the first thing it does is it will select a random row to look at. Then it's going to look at those pieces and check to see if any of them can be moved. Now, it has another degree of randomness. It will then randomly select which side of that row to start from. So I noticed that if I didn't add that, it ended up looking the same a lot, much of the time. This way, there's a lot more variation. And while it's not truly random, and I know it's basically impossible to have truly randomization in programming, it looks random, and that's really what matters here. I also needed to make another a different move function, such that it doesn't check to see if there's a winner. Of course, I wouldn't want it accidentally solving itself. And another thing is I added a last moved variable. So I put that in there so it doesn't put a piece back where it was previously. That way, I don't have a situation where it's just going back and forth on the same piece, not actually shuffling it. I think that's it for the shuffle.
So for the music, we use the JavaScript audio object to load and play the music. We use methods like play, pause, and volume. And we use audio.loop equals to true to make the music play in an infinite loop until the game ends. Next slide. For the game timer, we use the JavaScript method called setInterval to call the set time function every second. What it does is it increments the total seconds by 1 every time it's called. And we get the seconds by doing total seconds modulo 60. And we get the minutes by doing total seconds divided by 60. And then we pass the values to a path function for the formatting. Then we just update the inner HTML using DOM and update the seconds label and minutes label. We also have a reset timer to reset the clock if the user wants to start a new game. It just sets the total seconds label and the total seconds and the inner HTML of all the minutes and seconds back to 0. Next slide.
Oh, so for the completion screen feature, we went with something very simple here. Just when you go through the puzzle and you're able to reassemble the image, you get a, oh, see a typo there. You get a congratulations screen that congratulating you that you have solved the puzzle and giving you the ability to play again if you so choose.
So I was also responsible for the resizable board. So basically how I made this work. So our code was set up in such a way that it was, and it's a good thing we did this in the first place, that the board size wasn't hard coded. So the buttons, there's a 3x3, 4x4, and 5x5 button on the screen. If you hit that, it activates function 3, function 4, or function 5. That will set the rows and columns to 3, 4, or 5. And the way we set up the styling was that we had a class for each of the tiles so that it would only look at a certain part of the image. And so I made but if the board is a different size, those denominations need to be of different sizes in order to take a look at the entire picture. And so I had a size variable, which when we printed out a line or I guess the styling of one of the tiles, it will either be, say, tile 1A or B or C. So that will basically, it's there to designate how much of the picture needs to be shown. And then what we have on the right here is just some basic code here. If it's the correct side, that's what I was talking about earlier. All right, next slide.
So the last extra feature that we implemented was different images. This builds off of what Ethan was talking about with the resizable board. So in the actual HTML file, I just created a very small select list form. That way the user can select whichever image they want in the puzzle itself. That's the easy part. If we move over to the JavaScript file, like Ethan alluded to, the sizes of the boards were not hard-coded. They are based on the functions that he created and then the size designated by those functions. So I needed to take that size and then make it correspond to the actual length of the iterative that you'll see at the bottom of this code snippet here. The length determines how many tiles actually need to be updated and changed. If we were to just change the main tile class, like tile A instead of tile 1A, tile 2A, etc., then only one tile would be updated. So we needed to iterate through however many tiles we needed to update for the image to show up properly. If we didn't do this, if we didn't use size and length as you see in this code snippet, then if we were to pull up a 5x5 puzzle only 16 of the squares would be filled in with an image, and then the rest would be blank. So that was the last extra feature that we implemented. Next slide.
So now we will go to the demonstration of the app. So to start off, we have just a basic page showing you that you can start the game. Before you do that, you could also change the picture that the game displays, or you can change the size. So let's start with a 3x3 with Hoodie Cat. So as we can see, it's a 3x3 matrix, and we have the image of a nice looking cat. And if you press start game again, it can help you shuffle as you like to whatever, I guess, just to see maybe you might get an easier shuffle. While you have this, you could also increase the size to 4x4 and 5x5 each time, just making it, you know, a lot more tedious to complete, but still handling it pretty well. Then you can also change the image to a different one, change your Instagram logo, change it to the house. And although you might not be able to hear it, but there's actually a song playing. As you can see, it wants you to download the audio if you like, but I muted it for the sake of the presentation. So I guess right now we can just try to solve one together. How about that? Is everyone okay with that?
Sure.
Sounds good.
Okay, super. So usually what I try to do is I try to get 1, 2, 3 all the way to the top first, which is, you know, can be pretty hard, as we will see here. And I guess that wasn't so bad. Then try to get the second set up.
It's always the worst part.
Always the worst part. Yep. Now I'm confused. How exactly do we do this now? Any ideas that I'm not seeing? Perhaps I have to break this top row again.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
There is a way. I just randomly click until I get it correct, but
Okay.
I don't think that's the correct way to do it.
Yeah, this is gonna be one. Yeah, that was almost close. Oh, look at that. And look at that, we're able to get it. So with this,
Nice.
it should then be completed and it should take us to the congrats screen. And it opens up the congrats screen again, showing you again the type of congratulations that I wrote. And you have the option to play again. And when you do that, it takes you back to this screen. Then you can play the game all over again. You know, if you're feeling a bit, I guess, intrigued by it, you might do 5x5 and, you know, good luck with that. So that is all for the demo of the 15 Puzzle app.